morning, guys. Today what I'm talking about is blanketing a horse. As far as what do my horses do, my horses very much compete with dressage and eventing and stuff like that, but I also have trail riding horses, and then I also have horses that are pretty much retired and don't do anything. So I have a wide variety of ponies, I have a wide variety of stuff going on. So in general, my retired horses and horses that are not in constant work are outside 24/7 and they do not get blanketed. Now my 27-year-old paint mare, she does not get blanketed either, but she doesn't grow a very good coat. So just whenever it is really bad weather, me or my parents, thanks parents, will actually just put her up in a stall. And since she's not up in a stall the rest of the time, that's usually more than enough for her. And she always is able to hold weight really easily. If she stops being able to hold weight, then I will start blanketing her or stuff like that. So, but as of right now, blanketing is something that you need, if you're gonna be involved in blanketing, like in general, if you're a low maintenance type person, if you have a horse that's just turned out in the pasture, you ride 2 or 3 times a year, or even if you just go trail riding here or there, but it's not something you do on a consistent basis. Like if it's every week, if you do not have a running appointment in a sense to either go to your barn to ride or ride at your own house, then I would say don't blanket. Just a general rule. I would just say no matter pretty much where you are. I mean, depending. I mean, if you're like in like Greenland or something, you might need to. I don't know. Your horse might be adapted. But in the United States, I would just say don't blanket. Your horse will be fine. If you notice your horse shivering, again, as long as they can get out of the weather somewhere, and that could be even under trees, you know, they're very hardy animals. As long as they have food to eat, so as in a round hay bale or something like that, they need hay most of the time, especially in bad weather, rainy and cold, all that stuff. Like hay is necessary, and some sort of out of the wind and rain would be ideal. And again, under trees, it doesn't get them completely out of the rain, but if you notice a horse out in the pasture, even if it's raining, they're usually not under the tree. That's because they're not uncomfortable. Now the rain is harder on the horses than just the cold typically, just because they get wet and then their hair can't function as properly. That's why it's important they're able to get dry, and also for their feet, for them to get dry. So if you do have a stall and stuff like that that you put them in bad weather, then again, I would definitely say no blankets necessary. Now, if you are now on the other spectrum, for sure, if you are riding like I am 6 days a week, like I ride my horses 6 days a week, typically, the ones that are at my house that I am working to compete, train, and sell, so those I am working all the time. So I do blanket them, but that's because they are working and sweating, so they're not going to keep their hair as much. Plus, since I compete them, I'd like them to not have a huge woolly coat, right? I do not clip them. I might clip their like nose hairs and stuff like that, but like I'm not going to clip their whole body. I don't body clip, just because I feel like that ends up taking away the hair that they do have that they probably need. So I might clip like in the spring, like maybe it was like in March or something, and so summertime is coming, then I might clip. Now, how do I blanket? Now, since I have different size horses and different types of horses, because I, train and sell, and then I'll sell them, and then I'll get another one. So I don't have like a light, a medium, a heavy, a sheet, a stable blanket. I don't have all of those things. I could not afford all of those things, so they're super expensive. I'm getting more of a collection, because as I need it, I will buy more, but I have to take that into consideration. But with the blankets, what like the bare minimum I would have if I was just going to like start over right now, like let's say I lost all my blankets right now, and as far as what would I do? Okay, so a typical 15-hand horse is around about a 72 to 76-ish type size range from like 15-hand to 15-3, which is kind of where my wheelhouse is, if you will. So 74 is kind of perfect, really, because then you can kind of cinch it down for the little ones and kind of open it up for the big ones usually. Usually I can make do with the bigger one. If it was just for me and my one horse, then I would get an exact size, but I'm trying to make it fit a bunch of sizes. So, but let's say I was just starting over, and again, I had a bunch of horses I was trying to fit just for different needs and stuff like that. Then all I would mainly focus on getting is the expensive, like medium weight turnout. Now the medium weight is going to be about 200 grams of fill or so, but that's for, I would say, now again, there's a chart on SmartPack. Please feel free to check that out. But this is just what I'm doing. So anytime it is about 40 degrees or below, I typically blanket. So not on a turnout, but like in a stable. So say I put them in a stable, I will put a stable blanket on. Now that could be anytime from November to March. I pretty much do that. But that kind of helps them to get their hair off of them in a sense too. But if as far as turning out outside with a turnout blanket, if it is lower than 40 degrees, and it's going to be lower than 40 degrees the entire day, that's important because I do that in the morning, I don't see them again to the evening. So like I don't have a chance to take it off if it gets hot at noon, you know? So if it's lower than 40 degrees and it's going to be like that all day, I'll put a medium weight turnout on them, and that will be what they wear during the day, and they'll be outside during the day. And then at night, I'll bring them in, and then I typically would then take the turnout blanket off and put a stable blanket on. But let's say I don't have that, then what you would want to do is groom them, and then you could put the same turnout blanket right back on at night. So if you were just gonna have, say, one blanket, just make sure you groom them, like mainly like at least once a day, but like twice a day would be great if you have that kind of time. But if you're gonna keep them on blanket at 24/7, which I don't necessarily recommend, because that could end up causing a blanket rub, and then you get in worse shape than you were. So then if you got a blanket rub, you'll have to take the blanket off and let them actually heal. And so yeah, then you're in kind of an issue. So that's why fit's important. And then unless you're gonna be like changing blankets a lot. So again, medium turnout during the day typically is good, and then it's wet or something like that when you bring them in, you can put it to dry, put them a stable blanket on for the nighttime if you're keeping them in the stable blanket, and there you go. Now how you can kind of fix this is you can get like a lightweight, really not even, you can really get like, you really need 3 blankets. Like I'd like you to have just 1 or 2, but what you really want to have is like a medium to heavyweight, just kind of depends on where you are, stable blanket. Now I actually don't have any heavyweights, which I really wish I did, but like well, medium weights are kind of better for throughout the time because you can also layer as well. But what you could do, yeah, is have again 3, but you'd have your medium weight turnout during the day, and then the stable blanket, medium weight stable blanket on at night, so you can let the other one dry, and that way they don't usually get blanket rubs. And you can also groom in between, of course. And then in the morning, you take a stable blanket off and you put the turnout back on. During the regular time of the year, you don't really need a blanket, but it would be nice to have like just a rain sheet, something that could be turned out, so like they could wear it outside, but mainly so that you could put it on them in the stall to keep them from getting dirty. But if you did a rain sheet, you could then, if you needed to, like you needed at the medium weight, if it was rubbing or something like that, you could put the stable blanket on and then the rain sheet over top. So it may end up, depending on your budget, it may actually end up working out better to do like a medium or heavyweight stable blanket, because you put them on the stable blanket, and then a rain sheet over top, because then you could turn them out in that, and then just take it off at night. So you could do that as well. I don't know how well that would hold up though. So yeah, so if I was just gonna have one horse, I would have those 3 things, because you would have, yeah, turnout sheet, just a rain turnout sheet, so that during the summertime, if you need to stall them to keep them from like getting dirty, you could do that, as well as layering up in the wintertime. A stable blanket to alternate with your medium weight, unless you're not disabling them. If you're turnout the whole time, then you don't need the stable blanket at all. And then finally, like a medium weight turnout, if you were doing that all the time. Now, if you're wanting to go above and beyond, here's all the options you could get that I can think of. A rain sheet, a stable blanket, a turnout sheet, and of course all the different weights, lightweight, medium weight, and heavyweight of stable blankets and turnout blankets. Then you also have a cooler that you put on after you ride, so that they cool off and get all the sweat off before you put a blanket on. a stable sheet. So instead of so in the summertime, if it's too hot for the turnout sheet on top of them, then you could also do the stable sheet to keep them clean, but not getting them too hot. You could have a fly sheet. So it just, the list just continues to go on and on. So if you can make them dual purpose, then you'll come out better as far as on your budget. So how many blankets do I have? I don't have a whole lot because I did get a lot of it used. Definitely find it used if you can. But again, if you're looking at buying, definitely look for waterproof. The high number of denier, like 1200 denier, is really, really good quality because that means it won't rip as easily. And I like leg straps. A lot of stable blankets don't have that. So that's been an issue because sometimes a horse gets the blanket turned around underneath them or something like that. So I like the leg straps to help keep the blanket in place because for some reason, every horse I own wants to lay down, they roll, they do everything else in it. So yeah, so I'm definitely a proponent. And I don't like the up and over the head. I have one like that, so now I've learned I don't like that. Just because it's harder to put on and off, and then you have to deal with trying to chase the horse's head sometimes with it, because I always put it on usually when there's not a halter on or anything. So I don't prefer it for sure. And I also don't really prefer the quilted. So if you can all pick material that can just be washed away, then that's great. And also pick darker colors if you can. I know the lighter colors are cute, I'm with you, but they stain so easy. So that's why from now on I'm pretty much buying black, gray, those kind of colors. Maybe like a plaid, like the plaid, I think you can kind of get away with it a little bit. But so that's kind of what I was thinking on for that. Now also, whenever you're done using them, make sure that you clean them correctly. Now you can send them out to a dry cleaner if you'd like to. I just clean them myself. I get a big tub and use blanket cleaner, or dishwashing liquid also works as well because it's really nice and easy on them. And I use some bleach. I know a lot of people don't like that, but just try to bleach out any kind of spots if it's a lighter color. But if it's a darker color, I wouldn't use bleach because then it would end up causing color discoloration, so I don't want that. But so I'd wash it really good, rinse it really well, leave it out to dry. Once it dries, I then take one of the storage totes and I put my blankets inside of that to store it for the year. So that's how I do it. I used to hang them up, but it just got so messy, and I don't know, I'm not really into that. So that's in general my kind of rules on blanketing and stuff. So when do I blanket? From about now, which is November, till about March. But then probably extending out in those is whenever I stable. If I stable at night, I'll a lot of times put a stable blanket on just in case they get a little chilly, and being inside, they're not able to walk around as much, even though they're out of the weather. But now during the summertime, I leave them outside at night and bring them inside during the day. So I definitely do not blanket because it gets too hot. But by doing that, I also don't have to have a fly sheet. But if you're going to leave them outside all day long, which I do with my other horses, I just don't blanket them at all, and then they shed. They are able to grow hair, they are able to do just fine because they're able to get out of the weather and have food to eat. So it works out great. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Again, this is just my opinions, so please be nice in the comments. So thank you so much for watching. God bless, be adventurous, and I'll see you next time. Bye.